host of Greater Boston. I've got about 18 years in the rear-view mirror and just 4 more weeks ahead of me. And before I leave this perch, we're inviting people back on the show who helped make it what it is today. We're calling it the Greater Boston version of my weekly radio segment, Emily's List. My guest tonight has been kicking around Boston even longer than me. We first met in 1979, or maybe 1980, when he was working on someone's political campaign. I don't remember whose. When his daughters were born, we had an instant connection. They are identical twins, and so am I. And he'll tell you, even to this day, that I gave him the best advice: 2 birthday cakes. Michael Goldman is a longtime Democratic consultant who advises Attorney General-elect Maura Healey and Boston Mayor Marty Walsh. Welcome back to Greater Boston.
Well, thank you. And you spoiled my story.
No,
Damn.
I told you, don't tell my stories.
I know. Well, actually, the true story is that it was 1979.
Okay.
And you were Channel 5.
Yes.
And I was literally asking people that I knew that were twins what to do and not to do. And people would say, don't name them Mindy and Cindy and don't dress them alike. And I knew we were having twins. We didn't know they were going to be identical until toward the end, but you gave the best advice, and I will never. It's funny how things stick in your head. You know, you said when you had gone to college that you had, when you turned 18, you had gone to a college with your sister, and you got a birthday cake for the first time with your name on it. And my daughters to this day know that's why they've gotten 2 cakes. Their 35th birthday is November 22nd. Gosh. So I know almost exactly when it was. It's amazing.
That is, I couldn't remember the exact. I knew it was had because my daughter's a few years younger, but not much.
Well, so congratulations, you're escaping.
And you haven't escaped yet, so. Oh. So tell me a little bit about you. I mean, I read some stuff about you today. You were one of these guys who was met about going to college. You finally went, but how did you dive into this line of business, political consulting? Well,
there is no school for political consulting, and there wasn't then. And what happened is I grew up in an upper-lower 3-decker blue-collar Malden, and in those days, people like me didn't go to school. And the Vietnam War came, and my brother got drafted, and I decided that it wasn't a great career move to go into Vietnam. And so we had a state college system, and I was not a great student, but through political contacts, they let me in. And when I got in there, I discovered I was a good student. It was like one of these amazing transformations. And the politics piece really came because I realized early on that there were very few ways, if you came from where I came from, that you had power. To get power, to do things, good things, things you thought were important, you either had to run or help to elect people. And that's what I did. And really it was all about wanting to have access to people when they got sick, to help people get into hospitals. When if they, God forbid, had emotional problems, get them into a place. And you can do that when you got, that's the great part about politics, is taking care of people.
But as you pointed out, it's something profound. Like there are fewer really well-known political advisors than there are senators. I mean, there's just a handful of people who really do this with any kind of aplomb and, by the way, effectiveness.
Well, 45 years is a long time, and there's nobody really left, very few people are really left from when I started. And, I just think, I think that you have to have a certain level of stubbornness, and I think the single most important thing is, and you will appreciate this, I am the luckiest person in the world because my avocation and vocation are exactly the same. Everything I do in my job, I would do if it wasn't my job. So I get to read, I have my radio
Polls,
show, you get the polling, I have my column, everything that I would be doing if I wasn't doing this. And how many people get to do this? It never gets tired, never gets old.
How about your track record? Does it matter? Does somebody come to you and say, you know what, I really like that Michael Goldman, I like his style. Does it matter if you've had ups and downs? You haven't won every race.
Oh, God knows. You get bad streaks, and you've got to have private sector clients, and you've got to have people who remain even when you have losses. I don't know a single consultant that hasn't had a great run, and then a terrible run, and then a good run. And at the end of my career, I've got to go into Suzanne Bump 4 years ago was a huge upset, even though people didn't realize it. And of course, Marty Walsh and now Maura Healey. That's a pretty damn good run for the end of the game because it's a young person's game. I'm the oldest by far. I would sit in rooms with both the mayor and with Maura Healey, and I look around the room, and there are people in that room younger than my daughters. And that's the way it should be. So every once in a while, it's not bad to have one gray hair.
I think you
gray
need a little
evidence.
senior citizenship.
Yeah.
Same with my profession.
Yeah.
Michael Goldman, it's been a pleasure knowing you, and I'm still going to know you. But
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be interviewing you much anymore.
Well, you know, I think I said on Twitter, the reason you were successful is the show was smart, it was informative, it was entertaining, and you were fearless. And those are 4 great qualities to have. You had a great run.
Hopefully it still will be even without me. Michael Goldman, thanks so much.
Pleasure.